Welcome to Leading with Purpose, the podcast that's dedicated to helping you become the leader you aspire to be. Join us on a journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and inspiration as we explore the world of leadership and personal growth. In each episode, we will explore the art and science of effective leadership, bringing you insights, stories, and strategies from experts and thought leaders across various industries. And now your hosts, Dawn Marie Bornhammer, Maisha B. Hoy, and Dr. Sharon H. Porter. Welcome to Leading with Purpose. The podcast is dedicated to helping you become the leader you aspire to be as you lead, empower, inspire, and achieve. I am Dr. Sharon H. Porter, Editor-in-Chief of Vision and Purpose Lifestyle Magazine.
And I'm Dawn Marie Bornhammer, Founder and Chief Impact Officer for Mission Inspired Consulting.
And today's conversation is a powerful one. I am honored to welcome two trailblazing leaders in education and transformation, Dr. Sheka Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor. They are the dynamic force behind Create and Educate LLC. Together, they bring nearly 60 years of combined experience across industry and education, and they are both history makers as the first African American female principals of rural schools, Dr. Houston at the middle school level and Dr. Taylor at the elementary level. Dr. Sheka Houston is a Chief Operating Officer and strategist, best-selling and children's book author, international speaker, award-winning principal, and leader deeply committed to literacy infused with social emotional learning. She leads through faith, purpose, and the inspiration of her two daughters, showing us what it truly means to lead as a woman, a mother, and a change maker. Dr. Tammy Taylor. She is the Chief Executive Officer. Dr. Tammy Taylor. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Partnerships for Create and Educate, a best-selling author, children's book author, international speaker, and award-winning educator whose life's calling is service to humanity. With grace, humility, and unwavering passion, she has dedicated her life to empowering youth, especially young women, to understand their value and walk boldly in their purpose. And together, they are also the co-hosts of the REALL Academy, an international platform with over 200 episodes dedicated to real conversations, real leadership, and real impact in education. Dr. Houston and Dr. Taylor, welcome to Leading with Purpose podcast.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Sharon.
Absolutely. Welcome. We are truly excited to have you. And ladies, I was just thinking, I'm like, I don't think I've ever known you individually. I've always known you together. That's how I met you together. And so I would love to know, first of all, what inspired the founding of Create and Educate, and how did your partnership come together so organically?
Well, I'll take the first part of that. What inspired us to start Create and Educate was our journey as school leaders. We were first-year principals. The improvement model the model for report card ratings changed in our district, and we both found ourselves in unsatisfactory situations. So through that, we had to tag team one another and become one another's help because we weren't offered a lot of support within our district. So with that experience, we knew that other people were in the same type of situation that we were in or could be, and we wanted to offer that help that we didn't have at the time. And I'll let you take the second part of that, Tammy.
Yes, and Dr. Sharon, I think that the second part has to do with how we are able to have an organic partnership in being able to be two people that you know together, because that's kind of how the partnership has been forged. Now, Sheka and I have known each other forever, and we are familial. So we're tied together through family connections and those kinds of things. But I think what binds us together as partners and makes this such a true dynamic duo, because that's what people refer to us as. I think what really allows that to happen for us is the fact that we are partners and were partners in improvement, but we were also sisters in the spirit. And when you are with a like-minded person and your goals and purposes kind of align to be genuine and authentically what you would want to see happening in your own space. I think that is what kind of bound us together in such an organic way that people realize, oh, that's a very real thing that they have. Like, this isn't a show for us to get on to the Real Academy. People know for real, that when it comes to us and one another, that we consider each other trustmates, is what Sheka was referring to, but we're going to have each other's backs. And it goes beyond the fact that there's a partnership on paper or in authorship or in any of those kinds of things. But again, that there's a connection in the spirit where I'm praying for her, she's praying for me, and together we're determined that we're going to partner through this thing to change things for children, especially the children that are in our area.
Okay, I really love that. And the one thing that I remember is create and educate in its infancy stage, before it really evolved into this major educational consultant firm, basically. When you all were just starting and just trying to connect A to B and C. So it's just amazing as to how it has evolved today. And so I just want to congratulate you on that, because that was hard work, that was determination, and that was just resilience. Like, we're not giving up regardless of what comes before us. So congratulations on that.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Sharon.
And we also have you to thank for that too, because you are such a phenomenal example to follow. So we had somebody's footsteps to step into as well.
Yeah, but just
And
amazing.
honestly, Dr. Sharon, and I know this is probably not the direction this conversation was going to go in, but without women who lead,
Amazing. Yeah,
create
I
and
love that.
educate would not be even
And that's a
possibly
success
a
story,
thing.
Tammy, and Sheka, because that's one of the things, and Don know as well, as we have partnered on so many things. The beauty of collaboration is what you can get out of it, right? And so you are true examples. You took one thing and you went on to create something else, and that's what it's all. And people don't take advantage of that, and you all just took full advantage. So it's kudos to you, and you are the model for what my collaboration projects are meant to be. You take it and you make it yours, and you make your own from it. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hi, ladies. I'm so grateful that you're here. And Dr. Sharon is pretty fantastic. We've done business together in a couple of forums. So this is just one of our many ventures. And I can imagine for you, when you meet someone that you know, like, and trust, someone that you are open to sharing your ideas with, but also will be your partner in thinking and creating and bringing something to life, there's some resonance there, right? There's just this knowing that there's certain people that are just the right people to do that work with. And that's what you're describing. You're describing that mirrored image that you see, or that validation or acknowledgement when you share an idea and they're nodding their head and like, yes, I see that too. There's just something beautiful about that. And so when you find those people, hold on to them tight. And it sounds like you all are doing that. I was
Absolutely.
looking over your website, and I'd love to hear more about the real framework that you introduce, and how you walk people through things on your Saturday morning academy.
Awesome. So the real framework is something that we developed in order for people to be able to duplicate the work that we did in our respective schools for the school improvement process. It was something that was very daunting. And so we wanted a framework to be able to walk people through exactly what it takes. And that door is on there intentionally because it all starts with respect. And when you walk through the door and have that respect, that's how you get to all the other parts of the framework. And I'll let Tammy jump in here about how we walk people through it on the Real Academy as well.
Yes, thank you so much for asking, Dom, because it's a powerful experience that we provide as a part of a professional development network. The Fantastic Four is what that network is called, and it begins every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. with Principal Sean Hurd, who is a big brother in this work and who we've learned from Dr. Sharon a tremendous amount of resilience and fortitude and what you need to do to grind yourself in the work. And then, of course, we follow him at 10:30. And then following us on Saturday morning is Principal Kafele. And everyone knows that Principal Kafele is the GOAT. All things leadership fall under Principal Kafele. So I have to just press pause and say there, he's like the godfather in the group. And we have to just say what a humbling experience it is to be sandwiched in the middle of these two leadership giants. And then on Sunday night, that gets rounded out. The fourth part of the Fantastic Four is Principal Josh Tovar, who's another brother in the work, and Dr. Marty Moreno actually have a PGP podcast on Sunday evenings, and that allows for not just us, but that entire network of folks to provide amazing PD. And what we have done, and the reason that that works so well for us, is we center what we provide to folks on Saturday morning around that work, because people can also reach out to us. And, you know, we do work with schools, as Dr. Sharon said before. We are a consulting firm, and so we do lots of work with lots of people. But on Saturday mornings, we offer those in snippets, of course, because we're on for 25 minutes. But we pull from that framework to make sure people understand exactly what that work looks like and what can be not necessarily replicated, because again, it's not enough time for us to truly provide the entire framework, but for at least people to see and hear what they can garner to help them in the work that they have, that is a part of what we've done with our respect, excellence, accountability, literacy, and leadership. And we kind of stick with those pillars for providing PD for folks so that they, again, can take that information and use it or figure out if they need us to do more with them at their sites.
What I love about what you're doing is you're giving people an opportunity to experience you. So the more that we introduce AI and the more that we introduce other tools and technologies into the space, the more we need to show up as humans and demonstrate our understanding, demonstrate our knowledge, let people experience our energy, the way we think, the way we move, the way the dynamic you all bring to the table. That cannot be cloned and replicated. And so for them to experience that through you in that 25 minutes, surrounded by other thought leaders, gives them an opportunity to experience you. And if they want more of that, there's an opportunity for them to get that. right? But you're giving them this gift of some value, why they have the opportunity to reflect on when they would like to build you in to the next level of what they're creating. And in the meantime, creating that value is really powerful, but they get a chance to experience you. And that's one of the greatest gifts you can extend when you have knowledge to share to help move the work forward. So thank you for what you're doing.
Absolutely. It's almost like a commercial and what you could get, but then also with the way that these finances are working in districts, we always say it's the free option. So either way.
Yes. And honestly, Dawn, a part of it for us, and I think Sheka will agree that it's paying forward some of the things that have been invested in us by people like Dr. Sharon, people like Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester, Principal Kafele, Principal Hurd, James Presley, so many people, Dr. Akua. I couldn't name everyone who has just poured freely into us, and they poured into us at a time when the people who should have been cultivating us kind of had shunned us. And so it's a very important thing to us that um, that doesn't go unnoticed and it's not taken for granted. We pay forward what was given to us at no cost.
Absolutely. And that's part of service, right? A heart of service is someone who's willing to give freely where they can, especially to lift others up, so that when there is a time where they can partner with you, they will choose to do so. But in the meantime, to limit their ability to move forward is not coming from a space of abundance or generosity. And so to move from that space will be a reflection to many and the opportunity for you to attract more people in the future. And I would expect that's a key part of the growth that you've seen that Dr. Sharon was describing earlier. It's coming from that space that will allow you to continue to be successful.
Absolutely.
Dr. Houston, Dr. Taylor, behind you, I see a children's book, a beautiful children's book. So first of all, congratulations on this newly released children's book. And I would love for you to take this space to share a little bit about your book.
Thank you. So, Amir's Awakening, his amazing journey to ancient Egypt from classroom to consciousness, really centers around some of the problems that we see with some of our students in the classroom with boredom, not being engaged. Because sometimes their background knowledge or their history or their identities are not being tapped into, or they don't see themselves in the learning. So this whole book centered around, in the entire series, centers around making sure that we are creating more opportunities for that to happen. So the Resilience series, when we talked about that real framework, this is an extension of that work from having improvement systems for the school, but now you also have a framework that will help your students as well understand the same framework: respect, excellence, accountability, literacy, and leadership. And this really is about respecting who you are. And when you know who you are, you can operate from a level of respect. And I'll defer to Tammy for her to jump in here as well.
Yes, Dr. Sharon, thank you so much for allowing us this space to talk about Amir's journey, because it truly is a journey that I personally think all children should take. It's a journey for Amir that is kind of centered around some self-discovery, and not just him discovering who he is, but discovering who he is through his ancestral connection. And it presents a powerful experience for children to become conscious of the fact that there is an entire aspect of me that I may not even know about. So that awakening is a very real thing. And we're super excited, as Sheka said, about how this ties into our work and how this is just the beginning of what I can see as being very impactful in schools across the world, where we are helping to make sure that children who want to know more about themselves and want to know more even about the classmates that are around them have access to something that presents in a way that allows for them to understand that. And I think the activity guide is the perfect accompaniment to it, because it allows for families even to work through it together. Or we've had some after school programs who are interested in purchasing. So it can be also something that is guided by a facilitator or leader who helps you to work through those things. And again, just providing that awareness to your identity is not necessarily what you thought it was. And look at me now. Now I know who I am. So, and believe it or not, Dr. Sharon, this whole epiphany, we are hoping comes early for children, because we got it really late. And we want this to be something that kids have access to early. And that's the reason that it comes in the form of a children's book. I don't want another young person to be sitting in a situation that Sheik and I were sitting in and looking at each other thinking, no, I didn't even know. I don't even know who I am today. I will. I now know how to figure it out, but I don't even know, who am I. We're going to provide that learning, the building blocks for that to not be a problem that children have to have. And the series, I think Sheka mentioned before, is perfect for social emotional learning, because again, it validates who children, and this isn't just this one, but all of the books validate who children are and some of the real struggles that they experience on a daily basis, and
And
how they overcome those.
exactly, and experiencing it earlier and earlier. I will say as well. So
Yes,
self
ma'am.
identity is so crucial, and like you said, we as adults didn't have this groundwork, and so we did. It was late for most of us to really understand who we are. And so I really am excited about this, and as it gets in the hands of children across the nation and beyond, to really dive in and understand what it is that Mia's journey is all about. So, congratulations again.
Thank
Thank you.
Before we shift to my question, I want to ask one more clarifying question. What age range is most appropriate for your book series?
So ages 3 and really through middle school, but the principal Kafele endorsed it and said that really it could be for adults and secondary children as well, because the storyline of it could actually be made to fit multiple things across the curriculum. But we have it advertised as starting with ages 3 and probably through 8th grade.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
As a former Baltimore City public school teacher, my brain is like thinking about all the different places where the curriculum like this belongs, and the opportunity, as you mentioned, Dr. Taylor, to have families move through it, have school programs move through it, and just the opportunity to create the curiosity and also fill in the gaps of the things that are unspoken or unclear. Um, I think there are many people that move through quite a bit of their life not quite sure who they are in the world because they're so focused on what the world is telling them to be.
Mhm.
And this is an opportunity to kind of go inward without having read what you've written yet. Just the opportunity to reflect and go inward and decide for themselves who they are, versus
Can't wait for you
being
to read it,
told who
Dawn.
they
You
are.
tell us what you think, okay? When you
I
read
will. I will get back to you on that.
it.
My next question is, I would love to hear each of you share, and I know you've rattled off some names of some beautifully influential folks in your life, but a lot of what I was reading about both of you is really the strength of women coming together in lifting up Black women and the empowerment that you desire to create generationally. And I would just love to hear from each of you, maybe one individual that reflected so brilliantly to you, something that you admire, that you have woven into the fabric of who you're becoming as you continue to move through this experience and the growth of your business.
Well, we're not just saying it because she's here, but Dr. Sharon definitely is a person who lives collaboration and not the competitive spirit. And in our area, we were so blessed to meet her because she's from a Baltimore area, way far away from South Carolina, but we had not experienced a level of embrace by people women, a lot of times, who are in the same field as us. So having somebody like Tammy talked about earlier with that like mindset, teaching other women about collaboration and, that we don't have to compete, definitely fit into who we are as women, who we are as trustmates, and what we even project through the work that we've done with Tammy's dissertation work in our Build My Sister program. And I'll let her talk about how that's interwoven in and also her person.
Sure. And I would echo, as we've stated before, Dr. Sharon is definitely at the top of the list. And I just want to take that back generation or two as well, because I think for both of us, we both stand very tall on the shoulders of women who came before us in our family lineage, who were strong and who had a mindset of excellence. And because of that, there's a drive inside, even though we didn't know who we were and didn't know, like we're stumbling all around and into what we're discovering about us and the power that we possess and all that. But in retrospect, and as you look back in hindsight, you see these glimpses of things that you didn't know necessarily represented what they represented. And I think I can honestly say that we're both standing on the shoulders of a lot of different women that we couldn't even begin to name them all, starting with moms and grandmothers and just people generationally who you've seen that excellence and that spirit of genuineness be a part of who it shapes and molds you to be. But there are so many others when you start to think about what Sheka shared as far as what Dr. Sharon provides when she puts you in a space with other women from lots of different places and sometimes lots of different walks of life and says, hey, here's a network, use it. Let these people, I'm putting you together, come together so that we can get this work done more efficiently, more effectively. And you have other women who have also put us in spaces. Dr. Chester has done similar things for us. But I will say, and I'll just go back to how Sheka pitched me the ball when Dr. Clonora Hudson Weems is the progenitor of the concept of Africana womanism, and that theoretical construct is what I used when I was doing my dissertation work. And I'm a very transparent person, and Dr. Sharon knows this, but I struggled for a while with trying to find a construct that was going to work for me. And that was because what I was seeing didn't match what I truly believe. And that difference with African womanism versus Black feminism, or feminism in general, is the difference was this was a unifying concept where it was based on the fact that men and women are in this liberation struggle together. And because of that, we were able to find something that I could connect with. And I was able to meet her and to spend some very quality time with her. She kind of mentored me through the work and made sure, because this was important to her, that I understood clearly what that construct was and what it meant to the work that I was doing in that dissertation, but also beyond that. And that is how our Build My Sister program has been birthed. It is not about us trying to compete with the lady that's beside us, because we know that there's enough space for all of us at that table. What we want to do is we want to lift as we climb. And that's something that Dr. Sharon models. That's something that Dr. Chester models. And those are women who I hope other women can get access to. I mean, Sheka and I are living examples of these women will cultivate women who want to do that same thing. There's in anything that we're competing for. What we're doing is accentuating one another and trying to get the work done in a way that we are impacting the lives of men, women, and children in our community.
And I'll just add to that with specifically Black women and Black men can't afford to not hold on to one another because our struggle is the same.
No, thank you so much for that, because it's interesting to think about generations, right? The generational patterns. Some people are very proud to stand on the shoulders of, and some people feel that they're here to shift them, right? And so there is different ways to embrace the history and carry it with you, and to decide who you want to be inside of that story. And then also the blessing of recognizing the people around you that are there to offer you and extend that hand, right? Offer you that support, model for you that we can do more together. And what does it look like to stand shoulder to shoulder and really work through some of these large challenges together, recognizing that you will be stronger ultimately, and the perspective you gain. Simply the perspective of not othering anyone so much as including the conversation, letting the men stand with you and say that they are also in the struggle and aligned in many ways with all of what you're trying to create, and amplify from the perspective that they can offer. And so it's a really beautiful gift to bring to others, and I love that you're creating that for the people you serve.
Thank you. And I want to just add to the thought. One of the examples that was provided, and this was something that Dr. Hudson Weems and I talked about while I was working with her. There's a crabs in a barrel analogy that gets used often, and she took it a step farther for me, and she was talking about how that crabs in the barrel mentality is a very real one. But what you have to sometimes add to that crab mentality is imagine that you're in that barrel and the sides are greased with oil and you're mired down in some clay substance or something. That makes it twice more difficult to come out of that. And if you're not willing to reach back and pull somebody out of that mire or clay, or to help them over that greasy spot, because you're at the top of this and you're coming out of there, then you're looking back and seeing all of these people, crabs that are stuck down there, and you have to assess, how does that make you feel? Because if you're up here by yourself, who do you have? And that became a very real part of when I was creating my framework to move forward and to discuss the significance of us working together, and that each one can reach one. Because if we link and each one of us is holding on and we're coming out, we're pulling each other out, at the bottom of the barrel, guess what's left? Just the muck and the mire. And that becomes a powerful illustration of what can happen when we work together. So that stuck with me. And that's been, again, a very real part of the work that we decided we want to do, because that's what we want. We don't want anybody, and no pun intended here, but we want nobody left behind.
No, and it's a beautiful visualization for people. Many people are familiar with the original analogy, but the idea of how do you climb together to ensure that everyone gets out, right? I think there's some videos where they show the human ladder of like going over a 10-foot wall, and you could help one person, but then you're both standing up there and everyone's at the bottom, and you're like, okay, how do we do this now, right? But when they create a human ladder and let the people climb up their back all the way up to the top, and then they pull up the last couple people, everyone gets over.
Yes, everybody.
And so there is a way in which we can collectively move forward, and more of that is what the world needs. And so that's a beautiful way to visualize that for folks, though. Thank you.
Wow. So first of all, I was not expecting all of that. Dr. Taylor and Dr. Houston, thank you so much. I appreciate you all both, definitely. And so I wanted to really talk about this first, right? And as someone who understands firsthand the weight and responsibility of being the first. I was the first African American principal of a middle school in a small rural town in North Carolina. So I share that with you ladies. And I don't think I knew that about each of you. So I know that those moments carry both deep pride, but also a real pressure. How, in your opinion, what did that moment mean to you personally and professionally? And how do you move forward? Even if it stands right now, mine still stands. And that's sad to me. That, I'm now still the first, but now the only in over, 15 years.
Right.
So it's a great, I guess, achievement, but it is some pressure with that. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. So on a personal level, because as you read in my bio, everything I do through the lens of a mom. So the first example that I am to anyone are my two daughters. So allowing them to see me set a goal, reach a goal, and seeing me navigate and work through that was very important for me, for them to understand what it means to be a woman, what it means to set a goal, what it means to say that you're going to do something and you follow through with it. And professionally at the school level, because I'm blessed to work in the community that bred me, seeing the children that I knew that I once sat in their seats, and I knew that I needed positive role models. I knew that I needed advocacy, being in the position to be a role model and advocate for them, and allowing them to see, well, hey, if she can graduate from here and go off to college and come back here to serve, I can do these same things that she has done. So it meant a lot to me. And that's why I took it so personally when we were in that unsatisfactory status. And as Tammy said, kind of shunned and really told that, at the end of the year, we know that you're not going to be able to turn this school around, and you will be back in a classroom at the end of the year. I was expected to fail. And so that pressure was very real pressure. I had to file some grievances, and because I needed to be left alone to be able to do what I needed to do in order to turn the school around. And we were able to do it, my staff and I, because I couldn't do it alone. We improved 2 report card grade levels in 1 year. But the proof was not that I was proving anything personally to anyone about me. What I felt was, you don't think anything of my children. And to me, I took that personally, and my teachers. And I wanted people to know that I had some of the best teachers and students in the district, in the state, in the county. But I needed them to believe that in order for us to move forward. And when the light bulbs finally clicked on, we were cooking with gas, as one of my former principals would say.
Yes, Sheka has a very amazing journey, because and it's unique. I've admired and learned from her in so many different ways, because she has had the fortune of teaching and serving in different capacities in the same building. So her evolution is just an incredible one, from teacher to assistant principal. Well, first to like a what were you called that year when you weren't quite the assistant principal, but you were doing all the assistant principal stuff? And
just intern.
and then assistant principal to principal, and has done a glorious job with it. And I know that in large part, she's very humble, but it took a lot of work. She worked really hard to do what she did. And similarly, I have a lot of firsts too. I am a first generation college, and so I don't have children of my own, but I have lots of nieces and nephews and family who have had their eyes on me and looking to see, okay, look at Tammy, like she's navigating some things, and they're so proud. And my entire community, my church family, everybody's looking and just so proud, because look at Tammy, because Tammy is a real person that we see doing these, what they consider to be such incredible things. And so it's a very humbling experience for me, Dr. Sharon, to be in that first position sometimes. But similar to Sheka, I don't think I was expected to be successful. I know I wasn't. And not just by the people who had determined, you will never turn this around. And we were virtually told, there's no way this is going to happen. Everybody wants to stay where they are. In order for you to improve, that means somebody's going to have to get worse. And that really actually was the way that the accountability system was set up. And so logistically, it would seem you're stuck here forever. But, I'm very grateful that I had a staff just like Sheka, who believed in me and my leadership, and believed that we could turn that situation around. We were the 64th school out of 64 schools at the bottom of the CSI school list. And we were able to not just come out of the bottom to 63, we were able to come completely through that improvement process and completely out of school improvement. And they were expecting we were going to land in priority. We came through priority. We came through TSI, ATSI, and all the other I's that were there waiting on us. But we were able to come through and out of all of that and people didn't seem to even realize that we had done that until it was done. And then you had people, and I mean, people from the community, parents, from our district, who would say, like, I mean, we never really expected this to be the reality, because they didn't have any confidence that we were going to be able to do what we did. So I'm a person who I'm competing with myself. Like, you're never going to see me trying to get ahead of the next person. I'm always competing with myself. And what I knew about me was, I'm never going to be stuck at the bottom of anything. We are not going to do this. It's not how this is going to look. I will not be at the bottom of this list next year. And I had a coach who was there with us, who also believed that we could turn the situation around. And so I have to shout out Glennis Brooks today, because she was there with us the entire way, saying, look, you got to get these systems in place, but y'all can do this. This is very doable. I see what you're doing. This is not about your school not being able to be successful. This is about the fact you're a new person in a place where they don't have the structures that are necessary for there to be the accountability that's needed to get these children where they need to be. We put those things in place, and I'm thankful to be able to say that even though nobody thought being the first, we were going to be able to be successful. We were, and I'm truly sincere when I say this. I know that didn't happen because of Tammy Taylor alone. That was the hard work and determination of those teachers and staff, students, and parents that I was working with. It was because I had a true connection. Sheka's my trust mate, who's also helping me to figure out. I don't know. I'm learning how to be a principal, trying to come out of school improvement, working till 11 o'clock at night. I don't even know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to figure out a lot of different things and navigate this whole process. So I'm counting on her, because she's the one saying, look, what are you doing? Get your stuff and go home. This isn't even your job. You doing somebody else's work. What are you doing? Get out of there.
She was doing. She had never been an assistant principal before. I had to define what the roles were.
So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning, but at the same time, I said all that to say, Dr. Sharon, I know that without the guidance and the true intervention that God provided to me to be able to not faint, because this was a time when it was so bad that I know I did, and I'm sure she could probably felt it too, just throwing in a towel, like, is this even worth what we're trying to do? Because you're working so hard to get something done, and the people who should be helping you are the people who you're fighting, it feels like. And that's very exhausting. And I told her, at this time I was offered a different job, but you know what I said? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving these people. They weren't an improvement when I came here, and I'm not leaving until this is over. And we have come completely out of this. So I'm thankful that God brought us through that time, because it taught us to not just have resilience in the adversities that life throws at you, but to be resilient in your school setting too, because those adversities also can be overcome if they're broached in the right way.
Absolutely.
And can I just say, add one thing? Tammy's being modest. Her school improved 3 report card grade levels in 1 year. How many points from excellent, Tammy?
2, I think. I don't even remember, Dr. Shea. That
It's
whole thing is
amazing.
like a frog. I'm
Well,
Yeah.
ready to
well,
get
you
out
go
of there.
back and get it so you can continue to quote it because that's important.
Yeah.
ATSI, CSI priorities, those things are real. And so
Yeah.
to come out of it is an amazing accomplishment. So you go
Right.
find out how many points so you can continue to quote it.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And oftentimes, doubt is the fuel that you need to make it over. And so, and I think that's what did it. Yeah, go ahead and
Yeah.
doubt me so I can
Yeah.
show you.
And that's the thing. You tell me that I can't,
Yeah,
I show you
exactly. I
that I
show you
can.
that you can.
And
Exactly.
that's
Absolutely.
exactly what happened. I
Absolutely.
didn't share this part, but this is something that I think will help other people. One of the things that happened, and it's a result of being in continuous school improvement, they send out a team and you have to have a diagnostic review. That entire diagnostic review team had to come to a consensus about my leadership. There's a whole document about
Wow.
it. And in that document, and it's posted somewhere on the State Department's website, they unanimously decided that I did not possess the capacity to move those children, that school, out of school improvement. Now, I thank God for Jesus because my administration in the district did not agree with that. Now,
Wow.
as crazy as all this was, and as shunned as we were, I mean, Scarlet, let her shun. We they did not think that that was the case and told me, like, we don't believe this because, like, we know you, we know that this is not accurate. You definitely have the capacity to lead. Now, they didn't think we were gonna come out, but they felt like I did have the capacity to lead the school. But again, that was no, at first it was kind of like, and I told Sheka, this is like, what in the world? Who says this about somebody that you've only been around for 2 days?
Mm.
Not that we think that she might not be able to. They unanimously agreed that I couldn't do it.
Wow.
And that's when I said, okay, so this is what I can do. Because you think I can't, I'll show you that I can. And now, at that time, because I was really angry and not in a good mindset, just being very ugly in my thoughts, I told Sheka what I was going to do. And when I come out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them each one of my team members, a letter and say, thought I couldn't, didn't you? But I didn't do that.
I love it. I love it. But the point was made, so that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Well, congratulations on that.
Well, ladies, you certainly persevered with individuals that were doubting you, and you did it on behalf of the people that trusted you. And they were the most important people for you to take care of. Those children, those families, your staff. People don't show up to work every day hoping they don't make a difference when you work in education, because you certainly don't always show up for that paycheck. Because y'all are still underpaid to this day. But those are good people that came to do good work, and those babies don't deserve for somebody to give up on them when they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. I remember being in the classroom, and that was my fuel. Tell me you're giving up on an 8-year-old, and I'll show you what my babies can do, because that's not happening.
That's right.
Right? I will have 98% parent participation because you will not give up on an 8-year-old.
Right.
So let me know when you want to meet. Because I'm not just putting this report card in your backpack. That's not happening.
Right.
And so really just holding true to what you were there to do, and trusting and leaning into your mentors, and letting and listening to the voices of the people that believed in you, and quieting the noise around you, and just continuing to put one foot in front of the other. My last question is honestly focused on those individuals that are listening that may be first in whatever they're doing. Whether they're stepping out into entrepreneurship for the first time and somebody told them they should go to college, whether they have a 4-year degree, whether they have an advanced degree and they're still stepping out on their own, whatever they're doing that hasn't been done before, they might be innovating, they might be creating, they might be imagining something that they believe the world needs that they can't find or see yet. What would you offer to them as someone who is going to be first, that they can take with them on the days that they may doubt themselves or hear those doubters, what would you offer to them for them to tuck in the back of their mind and hold on as something that they can remind themselves of when the time is needed?
For me, I would say belief is such a powerful thing. One of the things that I would say to my students on my town hall meetings that were really essential in shifting the culture, just hearing me affirm them every day and pour positive things in them. I would say, CMS, I see you. What do you see? Your answer should always be greatness. And I knew that when I stated that statement, that that's not what they saw at first. I had to keep telling them how great they were. I had to keep telling them who they were. I had to keep showing them the mirror that I saw for them to see it. So believing that you can do something, believing that you belong somewhere, believing that you should be in the space that you're in is so very important for you to be successful and to get through whatever you're going through, whatever first that you're approaching. You have to believe it in order for those things to conceptualize.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, that is very beautiful and quite powerfully true. Um, I think that all of what Sheka said for sure stands true. And the only thing that I would add, I think, is making sure that you do what you do authentically and not subscribe to the way that others might define you or what someone else's expectation of you might be, but just to make sure that your mindset is that you're going to be authentically who you are so that people will believe in who you are. Because when you show up as yourself, people can't help but respect who you are. Because when you're trying to be someone else, or when you're coming across as um, insincere or disingenuous, people can spot that and they are not willing, especially when you're in a position of being like the first in leadership or something. You want people to believe in who you are. And the only way to do that is to know who you are and to show who you are authentically. And I would encourage people, I say this about anything and anybody, first, second, third, or fourth, remaining humble and being a forever learner. Because if you're willing to let people see that you have vulnerabilities and that you are willing to learn alongside them, they are so much more willing to be a part of that learning process, and they trust you as someone that they can walk through that journey with.
Beautiful. Yeah, what comes up for me listening to both of you speak really is anchored back into that faith, right? Faith is the belief in something you cannot see and the opportunity to move in the direction of that, but living out your values and walking in that, whatever that is for you, whether that's integrity, whatever your core values are, those are radiating from who you are and how you be. And the space that you create when you move into a room. I often anchor into the idea that we want to create the energy in the room and not absorb it.
Mhm.
And the opportunity to do that will allow you to transform whatever it is that you're stepping into. And your belief that you can do that is anchored in that faith, right? And then moving through that, you may have to borrow somebody else's belief from time to time. You might need to borrow someone's courage from time to time. But at the end of the day, you'll eventually find that it's all within you. And so just continuing to move forward, especially for those that don't have someone that they're modeling themselves off of so much as those little nuggets of wisdom from the people that have gifted them with those things along the way. So thank you, ladies, both so much for your thoughtful replies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, Dr. Taylor, Dr. Houston, we want to thank you for an amazing episode tonight. We would love for you to please share with our audience how they can connect with you, how they can purchase your book, and how they can follow you guys on social media.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. You can find us at our website, www.createandeducate.solutions. On Facebook, we are Create and Educate, and on LinkedIn, you can find both of our names, Sheka Houston, Tammy Taylor,
YouTube and
and
Instagram and
YouTube.
ads.
Yes,
You can go to all of that.
yeah. As YouTube is Create and Educate as well. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. Sheka Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, we thank them for their leadership, their faith, their courage, and their unwavering commitment to helping schools and people operate at optimal levels of success. Your work through Create and Educate and the REALL Academy is not only transforming education, but shaping futures and building legacies. And again, guys, I am Dr. Sharon.
And I'm Dawn Marie Bornheimer. As you navigate your leadership journey, remember that leading with purpose is not just a philosophy, but a commitment to making a positive impact.
Continue to lead, empower, inspire, and achieve. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with your network, like, and subscribe.
Until next time, lead with passion.
Lead with a positive intention, and by all means, continue to lead with purpose. Thank you for joining the Leading with Purpose podcast. Please join us every Monday for a new episode.